And with all of the craziness I just described, I think it's pretty obvious how Grandma Gatewood really connected with nature during her time and how much she really enjoyed it. And I feel like a lot of her journey too, going through these new experiences and being the first woman to completely through hike the Appalachian Trail, you kind of see your own process and how you would think like you would be able to handle the hikes and the thousands and thousands of miles that she was able to walk in her time. And for me, especially since I was in Boy Scouts, I thought a lot about how like long, strenuous 20-mile hikes were for me. And it made me consider a lot about how I connected with nature and how we should really get out more in nature and experience the things that she did. And while sleeping with porcupines isn't something everyone should do, it's definitely an exaggerated story to get people excited about going into the outdoors. And if you're someone that's really looking for literature talking about nature or things to just get excited to, or even like audible books to listen to while you're in nature, I would highly suggest this one. Me personally, I wasn't very interested in the topic of the AT or really just hiking in general. It's not something that I'd typically look for in a bookstore, but I would highly suggest reading or listening to this book because I really feel like it can bridge that connection, and this is a piece of literature that really seals the deal on just advertising hiking and taking time for yourself out in nature. And now I would rate this a 4.5 out of 5. I would rate it a 5.5 because I really feel like it deserves that, and there's so many great parts of the story. The illustrations of the trail, even inclusions of Grandma Gatewood's poems that really just push this novel over the top of just being a usual bibliography talking about someone's life and their experiences. But there are some areas that I would criticize. Oftentimes when you're reading through it, you can have points where they kind of switch topics in between paragraphs, and it's a little difficult to tell when they're switching topics. There were times I was just reading continuously and then stuff wasn't making sense, and then it clicked that it was about a different topic. It was about like a different time period, so I'd have to like try to go back and figure out like where that change was. But overall, I mean, if you really pay attention to it, there's a lot of great history and there's a lot of really interesting things. So in conclusion, I would highly suggest to go and check this book out and the fascinating story of Grandma Gatewood, especially if you just want to listen to the Audible. If you're not really into reading, it's still a great experience.